All right. Today is an exciting day. I get a chance to visit with Kelvin Sanchez of Alief Early, who also serves as a senior on my advisory team of students that help guide me with decisions throughout the district. And so I know that this conversation started with us sitting, meeting, talking through some challenges within the district as a team. And one of the things that you celebrated was your participation in the Genesis program. And so I think the charge I put to my team is, well, why don't more people know about this program that he's a part of, and how can we learn more about it, and how can we celebrate what he's doing with the work? And so we arrived at this podcast conversation. So I'll pause right there for you to tell us a little bit more, one, about yourself, two, about this Genesis program that I know you're super excited about being a part of.
Well, hello, I'm Kelvin from Alief Early College High School. So Genesis is a program that helps seniors in high school acquire corporate jobs for a year long. Some of the companies are Centerpoint Energy, Texas Children's Hospital, and like myself, Williams. I got through my internship. It was proposed at the beginning of my junior year, like midway till December. That's when the application was around. And then I applied for it. I got in. We did a summer training. I learned amazing corporate skills, from networking to professionalism and just, general corporate skills, like learning how to use BIM, Excel, PowerPoint, formulas for accounting. And it just helped immensely. And now I'm here working with these amazing engineers every day at my company.
So let's peel it back just a little bit for a student that's watching this, and of course we want to make sure that students know about this and can take advantage of it. What did you have to do for the application?
So they ask you about why you want the job. See, they're not really requiring a specific like GPA standards or the most outstanding candidate. They just simply want someone who's willing to put in the work and wants to, seek greatness and wants to put themselves out there, because, school is hard for some people. And they're not looking, again, for the best candidate. They're just looking for someone who's willing to put in the work and push through and be generational change.
So somebody hungry.
Yes. Somebody hungry to succeed. Somebody who wants to work.
Yeah. So how did you even come about like learning about the application? Like, where did you find the information? Like, if I'm a student, like, how do I learn? Like, okay, to get to the application, where do I go?
So thankfully, I had an AVID teacher, Mr. Stevenson. He's a senior AVID teacher, AVID 4. He actually introduced the program, Genesis Works, and they came and recruited people. They showed students like what the program was about, how to apply for it, talked about their benefits, their alumni network. And then from there on, I got the application and I just did it right then and there.
So now I know you have some pieces down here in front of us. Tell us a little about what these pieces mean and about what you do on a day-to-day basis in Genesis, besides some of the pieces that you described earlier.
So, for example, let's talk about that note card right there. That's one of the business. I'm actually their poster boy.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So I'm right now their face.
Okay. So hold on. You're the face of the Genesis program, right?
Right now, yeah.
Wow.
As
okay.
of now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a big poster at my school, and they did this just to like more or less inspire other kids to let them know like I'm one of them as well, and that they're also capable of doing the exact same thing. It's not just me that's doing this. Like, no, all of you are capable and able to do the exact same thing. I'm not something grand or special because I don't like to be viewed as that. And I guess we can talk about my internship. So I work on the 8th floor at Williams Tower. It's a beautiful building. I guess something that like changed my life drastically was before that I was working at Taco Cabana. I was working a fast food job, like every high school student does, And then my life changed extremely at the beginning of August when I got the internship. And I got it through my personal coordinator. Her name was Catherine. She's a lovely person. She saw me working through coding projects because I was taking dual credit classes during the summer, and I was taking introduction to programming. And I told her how frustrating it was to just, run codes and always get bugs and them not working out. And then eventually I had a breakthrough, and she was just really intrigued by the fact that I was doing that. And she asked me if I was interested in engineering, and I said, of course. And that's kind of how it all started, you know. She chose me for that company, and now I'm there working with a team of engineers every day conducting pipeline maintenance.
So you said you were working at Taco Cabana, so I'm assuming you were getting paid. Are you getting paid to be a part of the Genesis program?
Oh yes,
Okay.
you get paid. Yeah.
So two questions: what were you getting paid at Taco Cabana, and what do you get compensated within the program?
So at Taco Cabana, I was only making like $10 an hour. It was my first job, so I wasn't really asking for much. I just wanted, just to start working, get some experience. At Genesis Works, they pay students up to like $10,000 a year. It could be more, because honestly, it depends on the hours that you make. The average student works about 4 hours every day from Monday through Friday. However, like me, who was able to take online classes, I can go in a little bit earlier and clock in 6 hours. So paycheck differs for every 2 weeks.
But you get paid more.
Yes, I get paid a lot more, and the work that I do is a lot more comfortable. I can sit in my office and do the reports that I need to do, run the files and software that I need to do from AutoCAD to the rest.
So wait, you have an office?
Yeah, I got a little cubicle.
Got a little cubicle?
Yeah, like a nice little comfy cubicle.
Cubicle?
Raises up and down.
Okay.
Yeah, if I'm ever if I ever need to use the restroom, I can just go.
Yeah.
It's just really amazing how the lifestyle difference is from where I was at the beginning of 2023 to where I am now.
Yeah, and you're still a student here in Alief.
Yeah, I'm still turn 18. I'm still senior. Still like beginning to adult. So it's just, I find it kind of hard to believe how far I've come.
Yeah. So that's where you are right now as a senior. I can tell you just from my experience, that's usually the experience of like a senior in college that's interning, right? But you're having that experience right now as a senior and a student right here in Alief. So like, where do you see this going from here?
Well, I'm just going to continue to see greatness. It's funny you mentioned that. I have a few friends that are actually from the University of Houston that are also interns there. Wow. So when they see me, they always assume I'm also a college intern. Yeah. But honestly, what I love most about this program is just the opportunity to just network and just like understand like what all these programs do, understand what it takes to be like an engineer. And you make these long-term relationships with these people, and they genuinely want to help you. It's like there's a lot of stuff that I didn't know about like corporate jobs, like the work culture. That's like a significant factor when it comes to like, because when you get a job, you think like, am I going to work here for the rest of my life, or am I going to pursue something else? And just like working there has taught me all of that.
So two things you talked about. You talked about networking and work culture. So let's try to take those like one at a time. So for a senior that's here in Alief, give us a few pointers about networking and what have you learned in the context of the Genesis program about networking that you feel like is going to help you as you move forward?
I feel like for me, I tend to smile a lot. And if you have like a friendly, a happy-go-lucky approach, people tend to gravitate towards you. They like what they see. They see a kid that wants to succeed in life, and obviously they want to support that, And for me, it's like, I know I can confidently say now that if I wanted to continue working my internship even after, right? Let's say I go to U of H and I want to continue mechanical engineering, I'm sure they would offer me the job right then and there. They're like, of course, we want to keep you. We've seen the work you put in at a young age. We are confident that you will be an asset for this company. When it comes to work culture, what I meant more was the people there are always like super friendly, friendly. When they're walking by, even if they don't know you, they just greet you. They say hello. Whereas in like some jobs, like Taco Cabana, for example, people aren't happy with their lives, and they're not happy to be there because unfortunately, there's a lot of things that happen in life that cause you to work at a certain place.
So it's funny how you kind of made the connection between quality of life as you work in one setting versus another. And so just in terms of students that are seeking to go from grades 9 through 12 and graduate and looking at future opportunities, what advice would you tell them if they were considering not going to college or going to college or earning a certification of some sort.
Oh yeah, I honestly don't think there's an issue with not going to college. I just prefer, for me, just because I know the route that I'm taking. But I would always say have, you know, your route like secured, your plan, what you're gonna do, and make sure you follow through with it. And if it doesn't work out, always have a backup plan. Like trade school is not a bad idea. I think there's actually a requirement in trade school. Like there's a low demand or high demand, sorry. And I feel like those jobs are getting paid more and more and more. So like electricians, plumbers, you know, those jobs are always going to be needed. So trade school is definitely not a bad idea. Even joining the military, it has so many benefits that I didn't know about until like recently that I found out about through recruitment.
So one of the things that you talked to us about, because what you all do as students on my advisory team is you all help us to resolve problems. You all help give us solutions. So I know one of the pieces that you spoke about, just in terms of like a slight frustration, is like students knowing about the opportunities like the ones in the Genesis program. So what would you say? I know we have private conversations about this, but what would you say to the, you know, the leaders on the campuses that have knowledge of these programs? What would you say to us to try to help make sure that students are taking advantage of this program?
I would say just apply to every opportunity that's available. Even if you don't think you can win it, just do it. I'm telling you that it's better to take a shot than not take a shot at all. You know, I feel like we have this mentality that we just think that we're not capable of just because of where we come from. When the reality is like you are the master of your boat. You're the one in control of like where this journey takes you. So please take control, take action, and just apply. Like I cannot stress that enough. Just apply. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. So as you've kind of gone this route, I mean, of course, this is all new to you. So what are some of the challenges you face? Like certainly, you know, again, you're going into this big corporate building, and was that your first big corporate building, or have you gone to like a bunch of them?
That was the first time I've ever been somewhere so fancy. Okay. Because, you know, I'm used to just like going to, you know, like the corner store or, you know, just like nowhere like that fancy. So when I first got there, I was so overwhelmed. I was scared because I thought like, oh, they're going to know that I'm not from here, or they're going to know I don't belong here. You know, I'm just a kid. What do I know? You know, like everybody here is like experienced, you know, they're all like double my age, you know, in their 40s, 30s, you know, they've already graduated college. You know, no one in my family has ever, you know, been to college. So for me, it was just so surreal. You know, it didn't feel real. It felt scary because I didn't know how I was going to manage through it. But, you know, I took my time, you know, I believed in myself, you know, trust God. And, you know, I pushed through. Thankfully, everybody was kind. You know, they taught me everything because, you know, there's a lot of things that I had to learn. You know, the path to success is not straightforward. It's exponential. It goes up and down.
No, that's cool. I mean, I think that for me and you, I mean, I experienced similar challenges, right? I think what you're talking about is like, you know, imposter syndrome and code switching. And as you go into these environments, like for me, like you said, kind of being in a situation where my dad did go to college. I never even knew my dad went to college, right? Until later on, because my dad, he drove trucks. And so I didn't even know he had a degree. My mom, she didn't go to college, but she went to junior college for a little while. And so I was kind of like the first one that graduated and moved on and took advantage of some of the opportunities that you're seeing now, right? But I think that for me, like you said, going into those environments, it was like, okay, you're trying to figure it out, right? You're trying to figure out the people, you're trying to figure out the process. It's like all of it's new. So I can definitely identify with that as a challenge. What I would tell you is, and you know, again, we get a chance to have these conversations as a part of the group, is that you'll continue to like go into those situations that are new.
Yes, seriously.
Yeah.
For me, that was definitely like big challenge. And then what I remember, I actually wrote this a lot. Is, I always wrote why I'm doing the things that I'm doing. Like, I'm not just doing this for myself anymore. You know, I'm doing this for my family, for my 4 older siblings that didn't go to college because, you know, we prefer to eat than to, you know, be in debt and starve. And just like thinking, I mean, my principal actually, Dr. Brotherton, she always reminds me like what I'm doing is so much bigger than myself because, you know, I'm representing, you know, my community, you know, my heritage, like where I come from. So I always have to remind myself like the work that I'm doing is just so much bigger than myself.
Yeah. And the thing that you don't see, and I actually had this conversation yesterday with one of our colleagues, is that the work that you're doing now is, while you're the direct benefactor, it's gonna impact generations of kids within your family, right?
Yes.
Because this is a thing, the information and the knowledge that you get from this, you'll be able to pass it on to whether it's your siblings, children that you're going to be the uncle for. Because I mean, I do that with all of my nieces and nephews, is looking at the different educational opportunities, passing on, you know, the scholarship information, passing on, hey, here are the career fields that you need to look at. So you become this resource for your family. And so how do you see yourself kind of taking on that challenge and stepping into those shoes as you grow and learn more?
Well, it's still a position that I'm still adjusting to, you know, being a leader, you know, all that's expected of me, just because so many organizations and, you know, scholarships invested in me. So yeah, you're right. It is a big responsibility, and but I do plan on taking this wholeheartedly, you know, seriously. You know, I want to do good. I want to get back to my community and just do so much more for them. You know, I want my nieces to grow up, you know, and because they're gonna grow up in Alief, right? So I want them to have the best possible opportunities. Because you know, growing up, I didn't have that until right now, where I'm just drastically, you know, evolving and changing. So yeah,
Yeah. So can you talk a little bit about that? Like some of the opportunities that you, if you had to like look forward, what are some of the opportunities that for your nieces and nephews that you would want to see them have in this community?
So I want them to have more access to, like, for me personally, I was always interested in STEM from like a very young age, you know. It's like right there we have the dragon right there. It's like I love the Pokemon.
Okay.
I love Pokemon games.
Okay,
you know?
we got a lot of Pokemon around my house. I have a son here in the district, and he has several Pokemon cards.
Yeah. And then I always thought like it would be so cool to have one in real life.
Okay.
You know? So I guess
a dragon in real life?
Yeah.
Okay.
I always wanted to be like Ash, like a trainer, you know, catch Pokemon. So, you know, when Pokemon Go came out, that was really fun.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, I just started with 3D printing and, you know, just understanding what the design aspect of it was, and then I got more intrigued by it. You know, growing up in Alief, I was mostly inspired by my dad, just because, you know, he where we grew up, it wasn't really a safe place, right? So, you know, we always had like windows broken, doors, you know, thieves. And through him though, I learned how to like repair houses and you know, fix doors and windows and understand the electrical wiring of like the house. And then, you know, we only had like one car, so, you know, I was always fixing the same old car, you know, the beat down car. And just through him, just really learn all the engineering process. Yeah.
No, I definitely, for me, again, like you said, we go back and forth with it, but, you know, we had one car, and it's like you said, this one car had to get 7 kids to school. So my aunt would make drop-offs. So she would take, you know, some to the elementary school, come back, and then take some to the middle school, depending on, you know, what the weather looked like. If the weather was good, then it's like, hey, the older kids, y'all walk. So I definitely can identify with that. And so you take that, you're thinking about it, you're thinking about your little nieces and nephews. And so you grew and you learned from the foundation that your dad gave you. What would you want to see us be able to do for your nieces and nephews that are futures, or they're students here in Alief now, or they're going to be future students?
They're going to be future students in Alief, yeah.
So what would you want to see us do to try to make sure that they get the opportunities that you're talking about right now?
I just want them to be able to have like as much, because, you know, they're both STEM is such a big branch because it's so broad. So I just want them to have all the resources, like here at the CTE building, you know, I want them to be able to do just simple things like 3D design, you know, from, you know, if they want to pursue like medical, well, I want them to have the best medical resource here. Regardless of like what they choose to do, I just want them to have the best opportunity and the best like access to those resources like easily. You know, I don't want them navigating. Like for me, I had to like seek elsewhere to get these opportunities. So I want them to have everything here at home where they don't have to go and seek it.
So where'd you make these 3D items at?
So you know, we have West Houston, but unfortunately I couldn't use those because I wasn't 18 at the time. So we actually, with a group of friends of mine, we built the machine, and then we got the filament, we made the designs, and we just printed it out. Yeah.
So you and your friends built a 3D printer.
Yes.
And made those.
Yeah. Also, now that I've segued into this, I think it's also very important the people you surround yourself with, because you know, I've had these friends since my freshman year of high school, and we have always had the same aspirations and ideals, and you know, through them, you know, it's just crazy how far we've come, because they've also acquired like similar internships. You know, they're doing their own things. You know, I'm just really happy because I also worked with them at Taco Cabana. So just seeing how we're at this like amazing building where we were just like, you know, taking out the trash every day and cleaning tables. It's just so beautiful and amazing to just wake up knowing that, you know, we came from struggle and now we're up here.
That's cool. That's cool. So you talk about STEM, and you talk about access and what we do, or what, you know, as, you know, Alief ISD, what we provide you to set you up to be able to go on to these STEM opportunities. So why is that important? Like, why is it important that, you know, we provide you with 3D printers and all this other stuff you're talking about?
So for me, I guess in middle school, actually, you know, that's when I began doing the coding and Arduinos and, you know, just learning about that stuff. And I had this one teacher in particular. So shout out to Mr. Blevins from Kilo Middle School. He was actually a nuclear engineer. So he you know, introduced everything to me. You know, he was also telling me how he helps out with Schoology, you know, the website and the app. So, you know, through him, I feel like if I would have never met him, I would have never gotten the opportunity to do any of that. And through him, he had 2 3D printers. So I started, you know, applying myself into those. And he was just telling me like what it was and what I could do with it. And he was just telling me how this is going to be the future eventually, you know. We already see it now with like 3D printed houses and how it's just continuing to evolve, you know, softwares and, you know, all this tech stuff.
3D printed houses. So a printer actually makes a house?
Yeah, there's 3D printed houses now, actually. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That I see the dragon and I see the building, but like I see the little building, but you're saying an entire house is rendered. So just thinking about, like you said, AI and all the other opportunities that are in front of our students, like what do you see us being able to support students that are looking to go into STEM with that?
I think that we should hear them out in what they want, you know, what they think they need, and we should, you know, try our best to apply that. Maybe partner up with other organizations that want to help us out, and just do our best, do what we can. You know, doesn't need to be perfect, but as long as we're starting and as long as we're continuing on this path, I think we'll be set. You know.
So how do you like you said that you and some friends got together and y'all put together a 3D printer. So like, how do you stay on top of like you said, the next thing? Because STEM is always constantly evolving, constantly changing, and it doesn't take like years for it to change. It can change in a few months. So how do you stay tapped into like what that?
So I use LinkedIn, and I follow a lot of content creators that are in STEM. You know, a lot of like Elon Musk, for example. You know, he's always trying to build a new rocket ship or start the new innovation with his, like, you know, Teslas. So I feel like just adapting to the constant change and following like the right communities will definitely set you on the right path.
LinkedIn, you gotta break that down for people that may not know.
LinkedIn.
What is LinkedIn?
So LinkedIn, I guess I could best explain it as a social media platform, but more for professionalism and just like career building.
So not TikTok?
No, not TikTok. You know, TikTok is sometimes a little goofy. So
okay. So not TikTok. What's another what's Snapchat? Do y'all still use Snapchat? What other?
We don't use Snapchat.
Okay. So what other platforms do you use?
Well, I try to stay away from Instagram and social media like that, just simply because I find it as like a distraction. Or I tend to compare myself to them, and then that's why I'm like, nope, we gotta take that off because we're not doing that. So I tend to just use just LinkedIn and YouTube, just
Okay.
because I love watching videos on YouTube and learning some new things.
So not the gram, not TikTok, but LinkedIn and YouTube.
Yeah, because I feel like that's a current issue with a lot of young teens. It's like we'll get on TikTok, we'll scroll for hours and hours and hours, or we'll be bored and then pull up our phone, and then before we know it, 2 hours have passed. So I just feel like for me, I had to like set a timer on myself with how long I could be on that app, or I just had to delete it. Yeah.
They're actually starting to do like disclaimers and stuff like that for young adults to know, like, hey, this is in some ways detrimental. So LinkedIn, I know that I had a couple of you do presentations on like just how you're leveraging social media. So I know that you're in this professional realm at this time. Like, how do you continue to use LinkedIn to help you network and stuff like that?
So let's say I go to a career fair, for example. I'll talk to somebody, I'll learn some stuff. Maybe we have some similarities. I'll ask them if I can follow them on LinkedIn, and that's how we'll connect. And then, for example, let's say I need something from them, right? Or I just want to know something else. I'll hit them up like a few days later and be like, hey, you remember this conversation we were having? Look, I found this article about this and that. I would be interested if we could, talk about this more in person or virtually. And then I would just go from there. And that's how you establish those like connections.
So what are some things, given your work, your line of work, what are some things you might touch base with them to kind of discuss? And what's the impact of some of those discussions? Like, what does it do for you professionally? For
me professionally, it helps establish those corporate connections. So like, let's say they might know somebody that knows somebody else, and then they can be like the third party that introduces me. So I feel like that's a big one. Or for example, let's say there's a job that I want to acquire, or this program that I want to be a part of, I'll hit them up and ask them like what they can help me or what they did to get there. So I feel like that's definitely a big, because I have students like at my school that actually like connect with me on LinkedIn, and then they ask me like, oh, how did you do this and this and that? And then I'll reply and I'll just tell them like what I did, and then I'll get to know like what type of person they are through our conversations. And then if I see I can help them in any way, I'll do my best.
Yeah, that's LinkedIn, and I'm on LinkedIn. It's to your point, man, you get a chance to like vastly expand your network beyond even the scope of Houston, Texas, right?
Yes.
Because you can connect with people in California, you can connect with people in New York, and even though you're right here in Texas, like you said, you can build this network of professionals that you connect with and you discuss like, hey, our work and how did you tackle this challenge? How did you navigate this? So I'm a big fan of LinkedIn. I've been on the platform for a long time. I think the thing that surprised me was to learn between you and some of the other students on the advisory board, that just to see how you all are leveraging LinkedIn at your age was just like, for me, it was dynamic, because to your point, you see a lot of young adults TikToking and
and there's nothing wrong with that.
Instagram.
Yeah, but it's just like I'm trying to stay focused, remain focused. So that's why I tend to stay away from that.
Man, you sound like you're trying to level up. You're making a bunch of bread over there in that big business.
Yeah, no, they definitely helped me. Like I remember, the scholarships, right, for Amazon. I applied for that. I told them why I wanted to be an engineer, gave them like my story, my background, and I compared my company actually to their company and said how we have similar values. Because Williams, it's a gas and petroleum, right? But I explain to people as we are Amazon, but for the gas and petroleum world, because our customers are going to be Centerpoint Energy, right, where they convert the gas and natural gases into electricity. So we're delivering that to them, and we supply America with like 33% of like all natural gas.
Wow.
Yeah.
So y'all like big brother on the block for that industry.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's what really solidified like why they wanted to choose me for this scholarship, because 40,000 is a lot of money. So that's very generous. And then not only that, just the internship itself. It's just like, wow, I'm gonna be working for Amazon as an engineer. It's just it's crazy to think, especially at such a young age. I even shock myself sometimes, because I'm just like, oh yeah, I forgot kids my age aren't really doing that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that part of this conversation is me acknowledging how impressive your accomplishments are.
Mhm.
I think the other part of it is trying to make sure that everybody knows that, to your point, like, hey, you all can do this
Yes,
too.
please. Like, I'm just a normal kid. Like,
Mhm.
really,
Mhm.
I feel like, we're stuck with this mentality, like, oh, college isn't gonna work out. Oh,
Mhm.
we cannot pay for college, or, we're gonna end up working construction or something.
Mhm.
And the reality is, it's not. It's up to you to
Mhm.
really just go out there and seek greatness.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I just want every kid to know that, if I can do it, you can do it too.
Mhm.
We're all capable of doing the same thing.
Mhm. So bringing it back home to economic impact, I imagine working at Williams, working at Amazon, you get a chance to see something dynamically different than if you stop at working at Taco Cabana. And like you said, nothing wrong with working
Yeah,
at
there's
Taco
nothing wrong.
Cabana,
Yeah.
but if you stop there, here's the wage that you get. But if you go on to Williams, if you go on to Amazon, here's the way. Like, what do you see the benefit for you being like in the future with the compensation that you get at either one of those companies versus Taco Cabana?
Well, honestly, obviously, the one thing I missed from Taco Cabana was the food, just because I could always get the food whenever I was hungry.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the overall just lifestyle difference. You get to pursue your passion, your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that that I met actually at Taco Cabana. They told me that the reasons why they couldn't go to college was because money was always a barrier, or like a parent was sick, so they were forced to work there and provide for their families.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if they would have met me earlier, I could have helped them.
Mm-hmm.
Just like seek, like there's programs that assist you, like financially. They want to see you succeed. Like, I know for Williams, some, like, I think if you become an accountant, like, they'll pay for your college because they want you to continue going to school.
Mm-hmm.
Get that education, get that money up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and then these jobs, these corporate jobs, they really do care about their employers.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just money,
Mm-hmm.
but you got to take care of like the inside before you take care of the outside.
Mm-hmm. So when you talk about like your dreams, like what you want to accomplish in life, like this is the vehicle, right? So whether we're talking about Williams
Mm-hmm.
and the internship, or Amazon and the scholarship, and the internship, like what are your dreams for your life? Like, what do you want to accomplish for you?
So I'm definitely gonna keep working at one of these jobs for a bit, but it's not my end goal, because I did want to become a software engineer. That's what I was aspiring to be. But Williams helped me understand the physical aspect, the in-person aspect, right? And now with Amazon, I feel like because I understand how all these like machineries work and how the process is with Amazon, I can apply the software behind them now.
Mm-hmm.
But my end goal will probably to be in a startup, helping benefit society in some way, maybe in the medical field. I'm still not sure, because I'm still figuring out everything myself. Because I know I'm young and I look impressionable, but like I'm still also just navigating life. It's still I don't even know myself that well perfectly yet, or who I am or who I'm gonna be. But it's a journey that I think everybody takes. So maybe in the future, I hope to do more like nanotech. I remember joking about this, like I'll be the first one to solve cancer, or I'll use nanotech to like freeze cancer cells so they can't spread. It won't be a permanent solution, but it'll be temporary. So just just big aspirations. Always keep dreaming big. Don't stop. Always set new goals. It keeps you busy, and I feel like that's also very important.
Can teachers and administrators and Alief, will they have the opportunity to invest in your startup before you go public?
Of course, I'll start it right here in Alief, actually, because I don't plan on like going somewhere far, or like just forgetting about Alief. Like, yeah, forget this place. No. I plan on coming back and helping solve issues, just because I've seen a lot of friends and close family impacted by the issues. So I want to be part of the change and do something bigger than myself.
Yeah. Well, I definitely think that you are, man, not just ahead of the curve, but like beyond the curve when you talk about, man, solving, and curing cancer. And like, I love the fact that you have the ambition that you do. I love the fact that, these are things that you want to make sure that every student in Alief gets a chance to get exposed to. So if we had to wrap up the conversation, what are some nuggets of advice that you would leave for students in AECHS as well as the educational leaders in AECHS?
Well, as my teacher said, keep applying, keep applying, keep applying. Don't stop ever applying, and don't ever stop believing in yourself. Just because truly, like I tell you, like I was not a perfect student until recently, just because I had a change in my mindset and the way I believed in myself. I struggled a lot, intermediate and elementary, because I had language barriers. I sucked at math. I wasn't able to do any of these things that I'm able to do now. And if I would have told myself all you would have done later on in life, you probably would have been like, oh no, this guy's tripping. This guy's something's on, like he's on something. But yeah, I feel like don't ever stop chasing your dreams. Keep going, keep pushing through. Where you come from is not where you'll end up. Hang around with the correct people. Always trust in God. If you believe in a higher power, trust in God. Pray continuously, and just continue to have good character. I would say treat everybody fairly. And be generous. So those are the main messages that I've learned along the way.
So where you start is not where you finish. What about for again, me as the leader of AECHS, or even our principals and our teachers, what nuggets would you give us?
That wherever you are now is still not the end goal. If if you're happy with where you are, well then congrats, right? I'm happy for you. But if you think that this isn't for you and you could do something greater, well then I would say continue. Like don't feel bad that you're like offending anybody, because it's your life at the end of the day. You should be pursuing what you want to pursue. Don't feel any guilt over that.
Okay. Well, thank you for sitting with me today, man. I think that you've dropped a lot of gems on a lot of people. Hopefully our students and our community will check out this podcast and feel inspired, and feel like, hey, there's, like you said, where you start isn't where you finish. And sure, I could have a bad, middle school year or a bad intermediate year, but guess what? I could still end up winning my 4 years of high school. But it's all about mindset.
Even after high school, you can still continue to achieve. Like you don't need to go to college to be successful, obviously. But if you're not sure about what path to take, obviously go to college. But you don't need that. Everything. What I say is I'm not attaching myself to all these accomplishments just because like I know that they could honestly be taken away from me
any day,
and I would be fine with that because I know who I am at heart, and I gotta do what I gotta do. Yeah.
Colin Powell has a quote that I usually live by. It's like, hey, you never attach your ego or your sense of self to your accomplishments, because like you said, all of that can be gone. And if it's good enough for Colin Powell, then it's good enough for me. No, I thank you for sitting with me today. Again, hopefully some of the stuff that you've shared today can impact, everybody within AECHS that's listening and check, dialing in to kind of learn more about what's going on here. So I appreciate you sitting with me, and I appreciate you having a conversation with me.
Thank you. I'm glad we had this conversation. I'm still getting to know everybody in AECHS, and, trying to figure out what I want to do in the future. So, having these conversations do help me. It helps me understand, like, too much to whoever is given much is expected, So I feel like I need to put myself out there, even right now where I'm still adjusting and I feel uncomfortable, but I feel like that's a good thing because it's just giving me more exposure and more willingness to continue doing this.
So everybody, that is Kelvin Sanchez from Alief Early. Stay tuned for an opportunity to invest in his startup. He said he is going to open up that opportunity to teachers and administrators in Alief. I'll be happy to be one of the first investors. So, hey man, we're proud of you. Keep going. Keep doing the great work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This has been an AMP production.